What if everything you thought you knew about Prince Harry's reconciliation attempts was wrong? What if this isn't about family dinners or royal titles or even his children meeting their grandfather? What if there's a deeper, darker reason why Harry is desperately trying to make peace with King Charles? A reason that has nothing to do with love and everything to do with survival. The clues have been hiding in plain sight. The carefully worded statements, the sudden shifts in strategy, the timing of his visits. And when you connect the dots, a startling picture emerges. This isn't the story the palace wants you to know. And it's not the narrative Harry is publicly sharing. But it might be the truth. Welcome back to the channel. What you're about to discover will change how you see this entire royal saga. Hit that subscribe button, because we're about to uncover the real reason Prince Harry is fighting so hard to reconcile with King Charles. The official narrative is simple and heartwarming. Harry is a son who misses his father. After years of conflict and distance, he's realized that life is short and family matters most. He wants his children to know their grandfather. He wants to heal old wounds before it's too late. It's a beautiful story, touching even. But here's the problem with beautiful stories. They're often too simple, too clean, too convenient. Because when you look closer at the timeline, at Harry's actions rather than his words, at what's happening behind the carefully crafted PR statements, you start to see cracks in this narrative. Harry's reconciliation attempts intensified dramatically in 2024. Multiple trips to Britain, letters to his father, attempts to schedule meetings, public statements about wanting to mend fences. But here's what's fascinating. These attempts ramped up precisely when three critical things happened. First, King Charles was diagnosed with cancer. Suddenly, Harry was facing the very real possibility that his father might not have much time left. Second, Harry and Meghan's media deals began showing signs of strain. Their Spotify partnership ended acrimoniously. Questions arose about their Netflix content. Their brand was facing challenges. And third, Harry's legal battles with the British tabloids were escalating, costing him millions in legal fees and potentially exposing him to even greater costs if he lost. Three problems, three crises. And suddenly, reconciliation with the king became urgent. Let's talk about something nobody wants to discuss openly, but everyone is thinking about. When Queen Elizabeth died in September 2022, she left an estate valued at hundreds of millions of pounds. The bulk went to King Charles, as expected. But here's what shocked many observers. Harry's inheritance was reportedly minimal compared to what many anticipated. Why? Because he'd stepped away from royal duties. Because he'd publicly criticized the institution. Because, in the eyes of the monarchy, he'd chosen a different path. Now, King Charles is Britain's wealthiest monarch in history. His personal fortune is estimated at over £600 million. The Duchy of Lancaster alone generates around £24 million annually. And Harry? He's financially independent, yes. But maintaining his California lifestyle, his security costs, his legal battles. It's expensive. Incredibly expensive. Royal experts suggest that Charles may have created a trust or financial arrangement for Harry that could be contingent on their relationship. Nothing confirmed, of course. The royals don't publicize these details. But it's standard practice in wealthy families to use financial arrangements as leverage. Think about it. If you were King Charles, trying to protect both your son and the institution, wouldn't you create incentives for good behavior? Wouldn't you ensure that reconciliation came with benefits? And if you were Harry, watching your income streams become uncertain, facing mounting legal costs, and knowing your father controls an enormous fortune, wouldn't that add urgency to making peace? But there's something even more compelling than money. Something that might explain Harry's desperation more than any inheritance. After Harry stepped down as a working royal, he lost his automatic right to state-funded police protection in Britain. This has been a massive issue for him. He's fought legal battles over it. He's spoken publicly about fearing for his family's safety. And who's the one person in Britain who could restore that protection with a single decision? As monarch, Charles has significant influence over security arrangements for family members. A reconciliation with his father could potentially mean restored security for Harry's family. Protection for Archie and Lilibet when they visit Britain. Peace of mind that money alone cannot buy. Suddenly, reconciliation isn't just about warm family feelings. It's about ensuring his children can safely visit the country of their heritage without Harry bankrupting himself on private security. But wait, There's another layer to this story, one that's been quietly developing while the world focused on family drama. In his memoir Spare, Harry admitted to past drug use. Cocaine, cannabis, magic mushrooms, he detailed it all. It was presented as honest soul-searching, but it created a massive legal problem. Why? Because drug use can be grounds for visa denial in the United States. When you apply for a US visa, you must answer questions about drug use. If Harry answered truthfully, it could complicate his status. If he didn't, that's its own problem. Conservative American think tanks have actually sued the US government to release Harry's immigration records, arguing that he may have received preferential treatment. As the British monarch, Charles has diplomatic leverage. The relationship between the US and UK is one of the strongest alliances in the world. Behind closed doors, at the highest levels of government, monarchs and presidents communicate. If Harry's visa situation became truly problematic, if deportation became a real possibility, Charles could intervene diplomatically. Not publicly, but quietly. A conversation between heads of state. A special arrangement. But would Charles use his influence to help a son who's estranged from the family? A son who's publicly criticized the institution Charles now leads? Or would he be more inclined to help a son who's reconciled, who's made amends, who's back in the family fold? Harry may need his father in ways that go far beyond emotional fulfillment. He may need him to secure his future in America, and that's a dependency that changes the entire dynamic of their relationship. Now, let's talk about the elephant in the room. Because there's another compelling reason why Harry might desperately need to reconcile with King Charles right now, while Charles is still on the throne. By all accounts, William is far less forgiving than his father. Sources close to the brothers say William views Harry's betrayal as unforgivable. He's reportedly told friends that he'll never fully trust Harry again. And here's the sobering reality Harry faces. William is 42 years old. He could be king for 30, 40, maybe even 50 years. If Harry doesn't reconcile with Charles now, while his father still has influence and affection for him, what happens when William becomes king? Would King William restore Harry's security? Would King William be generous with family trusts? Would King William invite his brother back into any sort of royal role or protection? Harry has a window, a closing window. His father is 76 years old, battling cancer, and still has enough paternal love to potentially forgive and make accommodations. But that window won't stay open forever. Once William takes the throne, Harry might find himself permanently on the outside. No reconciliation, no security assistance, no financial safety net from the crown. Just him and Meghan, alone, navigating an increasingly complicated world without the most powerful family in Britain behind them. He understands that his relationship with Charles isn't just about the present. It's about securing his family's future for decades to come. Every failed phone call, every rejected meeting request, every cold shoulder from the palace brings him one step closer to a future where he has no leverage at all, where he's just a former prince living in California with famous in-laws and fading relevance. That's a terrifying prospect, and it might be the real driving force behind his desperation. There's one more piece to this puzzle, one that's even more cynical, but might be closest to the truth. Think about this. Harry and Meghan have built their post-royal life on telling their story. The Oprah interview, the Netflix documentary, the memoir. They've monetized their pain, their grievances, their version of events. But there's a shelf life to victimhood. Eventually, audiences tire of complaint. They want to see growth, evolution, redemption. What's the next chapter of Harry's story after I left the toxic institution? It could be I tried to come back, but they rejected me. The martyred son, forever exiled, forever the victim. Or it could be I reconciled with my father despite everything. The prodigal son, forgiven, welcomed home. Both are narratives. Both can be monetized. But here's the thing. Harry needs Charles to cooperate for either story to work. If Charles fully cuts him off, Harry loses his most compelling content. The royal family becomes old news. People move on. But if Charles engages, even in rejection, Harry has fresh material. I tried and here's what happened. New documentaries, new interviews, new books. And if Charles actually reconciles, that's the ultimate story. How I made peace with the crown. A redemption arc that could fuel years of content. Either way, Harry needs his father in the narrative. Without Charles engaging, Harry becomes just another celebrity in California. With Charles in the story, whether as the forgiving father or the distant king, Harry remains relevant. Could Harry's reconciliation attempts be, at least partially, about maintaining his marketability? About ensuring he has stories to sell? Now, before you think I'm completely cynical, let me say this. All of this can be true, and Harry can still genuinely love his father. Humans are complex. We rarely do things for just one reason. We're capable of holding multiple motivations simultaneously. Harry can miss his dad and need his father's influence for security. He can want his children to know their grandfather and recognize the financial benefits of reconciliation. He can genuinely regret the rift and understand that staying relevant requires maintaining the royal connection. These things aren't mutually exclusive. In fact, this mix of love and pragmatism might be the most honest explanation of all. Harry is a man in his 40s who lost his mother young, who's estranged from his brother, who's built a life across an ocean from everything he knew. Of course, he wants his father back, but he's also a man with a wife, 2 children, massive expenses, security concerns, legal battles, and an uncertain future. Of course, he's thinking practically about what reconciliation could provide. The real reason Harry wants to reconcile with King Charles isn't one thing. It's everything. Love and money, emotion and strategy, heart and survival. And maybe that's what makes this whole situation so tragic. If Harry's reconciliation efforts are driven by practical needs as much as emotional ones, does that make them less valid? Does it make his pain less real? Here's what we know. Time is running out. Charles is aging. His health is uncertain. The window for reconciliation, for whatever reason Harry wants it, is closing. Every rejected meeting, every unanswered letter, every cold interaction brings him closer to a future where he has no royal safety net at all, where he's truly on his own. The question isn't whether Harry has ulterior motives for seeking reconciliation. The question is, does King Charles know? And does he care? Perhaps Charles sees through it all. Perhaps he understands that his son needs him for reasons beyond love. Perhaps that's why he's keeping Harry at arm's length, waiting to see if genuine remorse emerges from the strategic overtures. Or perhaps Charles is waiting for something else. An apology, a gesture, a sign that Harry is willing to put the family above his own narrative. Whatever the real reason behind Harry's desperation, one thing is certain. Because eventually, something will give. Charles will either forgive or permanently close the door. Harry will either get what he needs or learn to live without it. And when that moment comes, we'll finally know the truth. What do you think is really driving Harry's reconciliation attempts? Love, money, security, or something else entirely? Drop your thoughts in the comments. If this deep dive opened your eyes, smash that like button and subscribe for more untold royal stories. This has been the hidden truth about why Prince Harry really wants his father back. Sometimes the most desperate pleas aren't about love.